Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress with a video on a lone white king successfully battling a whole black army. It's also number 7 in the series The King Rules, and this is the ultimate king rules video because in this position you see the white king on its own and black has all his pieces: king, queen, 2 rooks, 2 bishop, 2 knights and 8 pawns. And white will still be able to draw this position. It was sent to me by email by a viewer, Igor Govorushko, and he says, "Hello Rick, let me show you a very beautiful chess puzzle. It was composed in 1982 by the Soviet chess composer Boris Sidorov. Yes, white to move and draw." Well, how can this be possible? How can a white king on its own battle a whole black army? What we normally look for in positions where one player has a lot less material but can still make a draw is for stalemate. And that could be the solution here because all these black pieces cannot play. They have no legal moves. So maybe stalemate is the solution here. Well, not really. We have to drop the stalemate idea because black can play b4 and then b5. And then this knight can go to b6 and jump around. And white will not be able to prevent that. So stalemating black is not the solution here. We have to do it in a different way. But what else would be possible? How can white control all those black pieces? We have to look for something else. We saw that the black knight can uncage itself, but all other pieces are still stalemated. And a knight cannot checkmate a king by itself. So white will have to keep the lock on the door. That is, not let the king on d1 out of its cage, because if that happens, then all other black pieces will be freed up. This is a good moment to put the video on pause if you want to look for the solution yourself. It's not very difficult, but it's very beautiful, so it's well worth spending a few minutes on. As said, we want to keep the black king in its cage, so 2 moves come to mind. King f1. Or king takes f2, but only one is the right one. Only one will lead to a draw, the other one loses. And which one is it? Well, I'm going to give the solution now. The move that draws is king f1. And we'll see in a minute why king takes f2 does not work. Black only has one move, b4. And only now do we take on f2. And keep the black king in its cage. b5 only move, king back to f1, white will not make any other moves than king f1 and king f2, knight b6, the knight is out of its cage, king f2, knight d5, king f1, but what now? Yes, we can give a check, but then we go back to f2, we can give another check, we go back to f1, and let's make a few more moves, let's put some moves on the board, the knight dances around. Here, of course, you have to make sure you don't take the knight, because then the king will come to e1. So king f1 again. You can do whatever you want. White will not take the knight, will just keep going between f2 and f1. And black can keep trying till the cows come home. But the problem with the knight is that it cannot lose a tempo, like all the other pieces can. The knight will never be able to keep the king off f1 or f2. So this position is a draw, as black cannot make progress. He will never be able to untangle his pieces as long as white will make sure never to go anywhere else than f1 and f2. This is quite remarkable. And the knight not being able to lose a tempo is crucial here. So why does king takes f2 not work then? We can do the same thing. Just go between f1 and f2. Can we not? No, we cannot. Because now we'll see that this is different. b4 is again the only move, and white is just planning to go between f1 and f2, b5 only move, king f2, and now the knight can come out, king back, but it is different because now knight d5 is possible, and after king f2, knight e3 is possible, covering the f1 square. The king cannot go to f1, which means that the black king will be released from its cage. We take the knight, then king e1, and it will be checkmate in a few moves. Let's look at one example. King e4, then black promotes, king f5 and checkmate in only 2 moves. In this variation, the knight was able to take the f1 square away from the king by playing knight e3, and that means white cannot keep the black king on d1 and loses in a few moves. And that's why it's crucial that in the starting position the king goes to f1 and not to f2. For the simple reason that a knight cannot lose a tempo, and by playing king f1, the king will be able to keep going up and down between f1 and f2 forever and achieve a draw. Quite incredible, and indeed the ultimate example of the king rules, the king taking on all of black's pieces by itself. Thanks a lot to Igor Govorushko for sending me this extraordinary composition by the Soviet composer Boris Sidorov, published in 1982. And what about our game? That's also very exciting. Rick against the Chess to Impress viewers. Let's put the position on the board. We have reached move 11. You have just kicked my bishop on g5 with h6 and I went back to e3. And now it is your move. What would you play in this position? You can put your move underneath this video and then you will be part of this game, but also in the raffle for a chess book. At the end of the game I will raffle a chess book that was made available by my sponsor, The Beste Zet, a web shop for chess books. The link is in the description box. So what would you play here? It is a very complicated and rich position. Hope you will take part in our game. And I hope you enjoyed this video on the King Rules, the ultimate King Rules video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the Chess to Impress channel and please leave a comment. I will read them all and I will reply to them all. If you like the video, if you like this series, the link to the series is in the description box. Please share it on social media by clicking the share button on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram, on Twitter and on Facebook. This is Rick for Chess to Impress. Thank you for watching.